They're real. 12-foot snow monsters with yellow eyes that hunt like wolves. I'm Dr. Alex Harlan, the only one who crawled out of the Arctic alive. And the last thing I filmed was one of them staring straight into the lens, inches from my face. My name's Alex Harlan, 45 climate scientist from Seattle. Back in 2023, I led a 6-person research team to the Brooks Range in northern Alaska, officially to study ice melt, unofficially to chase rumors of something alive under the snow. The university gave us 2 weeks, a helicopter drop, and a budget that barely covered coffee. We thought we were hunting data. Turns out we were the prey. The team was small, tight, and way too confident. Lisa Carter, 38, biologist and our videographer. She filmed everything. Ice cores, sunsets, her own breath freezing mid-air. Mike Tex Delgado, 32, tech guy from Austin. Kept the drones flying and the jokes coming. Tom Riley, 29, photographer, always had a camera around his neck and a grin on his face. Sarah Kim, 40, geologist. Could read rock like a newspaper. Ben Ortiz, 35, medic. Quiet, steady, carried the first aid kit like a Bible. And me, lead scientist, husband to Emily, dad to 10-year-old Mia. I promised them both I'd be home for Thanksgiving. We choppered in on a clear March morning. The pilot, a grizzled ex-Marine named Hank, dropped us on a flat patch of glare ice 2 days ski from the nearest road. Radio check every 6 hours, he said. Storm rolls in, you hunker. Don't play hero. We waved him off, tense up, stoves humming, feeling like Arctic rock stars. Day 1 was textbook. We drilled cores, logged temps, 38 degrees, took selfies with the aurora. Lisa's GoPro caught everything. Mike launched a drone that buzzed a mile out and came back with clean footage of nothing but white. Tom snapped 100 shots of frost feathers. Sarah chipped at permafrost, muttering about methane pockets. Been brewed cocoa strong enough to wake the dead. That night the wind picked up. Not unusual. Arctic weather flips like a coin. We zipped into our sleeping bags, headlamps off, listening to the nylon walls flap. Then came the sound, a low, rolling howl. Part wolf, part human, part something older. It rolled across the ice, faded, then answered itself from 3 directions. Mike sat up. Wolves? Lisa shook her head. Too big, too wrong. I told everyone to sleep. Scientists don't panic over wind. Next morning we found the prints. They circled the camp in a perfect ring 30 yards out. Each footprint was 24 inches long, 5 toes splayed wide, claws digging half an inch into crusted snow. No tail drag, no paw pads, just weight, enormous weight. Tom knelt, ruler out. Bear? Sarah laughed, nervous. Grizzlies don't walk on 2 legs. Lisa's camera rolled. I told myself mutation, maybe a polar bear with birth defects. We bagged snow samples, marked GPS, kept working. By noon, the prints were inside the perimeter, one set right beside the latrine tent. Mike's drone came back with a single frame, a tall, white-gray shape standing upright on a ridge, head tilted, watching. The image was grainy, but the eyes glowed yellow even in daylight. Lisa zoomed in. That's no bear. We should have radioed for pickup. Instead, I said, one more day. We need proof. Famous last words. That afternoon, Sarah found the cave, half buried in a drift, mouth big enough for a pickup truck. Inside, hand-drawn pictures on the wall, charcoal smudged but clear. Stick figures with spears, taller stick figures with yellow eyes. One scene showed the tall ones dragging smaller ones into the dark. Sarah traced the lines with a gloved finger. Prehistoric, maybe thousands of years old. Tom photographed every inch. Lisa's GoPro light caught fresh claw marks over the ancient art. 3 parallel gashes still dripping ice melt. Night 2, the temperature dropped to 45 degrees. Wind screamed. We huddled in the mess tent, stove hissing, sharing 1 pot of chili. The howl came again, closer. Then silence. Then footsteps, heavy, slow, circling. Mike stepped outside to check the generator. 30 seconds later, he screamed, short, sharp cutoff. We bolted out. Blood on the snow, drag marks leading into the dark. No Mike, just his glove, fingers still curled. We barricaded the tents, rifles loaded. Bear spray felt laughable now. Lisa kept filming, whispering narration like a horror documentary. Tom's hands shook so bad he dropped a lens. Sarah prayed in Korean. Ben checked the medkit twice. I stared at the GPS, Still 2 days from help, storm closing the sky. At 2:13 a.m., the first one hit the tent wall. The nylon bowed inward, claws ripping. Yellow eyes glowed through the tear. Lisa's scream mixed with the stove's roar. We fired through the fabric, blind, deafening. The shape vanished. When we peeked out, the snow was empty except for a single, perfect footprint, filled with steaming blood. That was the moment we stopped pretending. The snow monsters were real, and they were hunting us. The morning after Mike vanished, the Arctic looked innocent again. Sun low, sky pale blue, wind down to a whisper. But the snow was a crime scene. Drag marks, blood frozen in dark ribbons, and those huge prints everywhere. Some fresh, some from the night, all leading away from camp toward the ridge. I stood over the mess in my bunny boots, breath fogging, trying to keep my scientist brain in charge. The others clustered behind me, silent except for the click of Lisa's camera. Lisa was first to speak. "We pack up now," Sarah shook her head. "We need the cores." "The data," Tom laughed, sharp scared. "Data? Mike's gone, Sarah." Ben just stared at the glove in the snow, thumb missing. I made the call. 2 hours. Grab what we can, then we ski south to the pickup point. Nobody argued. We moved fast. Tents down, stoves cold, sleds loaded. I checked the sat phone. No signal, storm still scrambling the sky. The emergency beacon was our lifeline. Press it and a chopper would come, but only if the weather broke. For now, we were on our own. Lisa filmed everything. "Day 3, she narrated, voice steady for the lens. "Subject Mike Delgado missing, presumed taken. Tracks indicate bipedal predator. Height estimated 10 to 12 feet. She panned to the ridge where the white-gray shape had stood yesterday. Nothing there now but wind-sculpted snow. Tom slung his camera bag, hands still shaking. "I got a clear shot last night," he said. Through the tear in the tent. "It's human, but not. Face too long, eyes too big." He showed me the frame on the back of his DSLR. Yellow eyes, flat nose, mouth open in what might have been a snarl or a smile. My stomach flipped. Sarah packed rock samples like they still mattered. "If we leave the cores, the grant dies. We need proof this trip wasn't a waste." Ben zipped the med kit. "Proof won't matter if we're dead." We started the march south at noon, 6 sleds in a line, rifles across chests. The plan: ski 10 miles to an emergency cache Hank the pilot had marked. Extra fuel, a tent, maybe a working radio. The snow was knee-deep, wind crust hard enough to hold our weight most steps. Every crunch felt loud. Every shadow looked tall. Half a mile out, the prints joined us. They paralleled our trail 30 yards to the left. Same huge feet, same claw marks. Sometimes they crossed ahead, sometimes behind. Never close enough to see the makers, but close enough to feel watched. Lisa kept the GoPro rolling on a chest mount. "They're pacing us," she whispered. "Like wolves with caribou." Tom stopped to photograph a print. The snow inside was pink, Mike's blood still wet under the surface crust. He gagged, stepped back, and his ski pole punched through into a hidden hole. He yelped, legs sinking to the thigh. Sarah grabbed his arm. "Trap," she said. They dug it. The hole was lined with sharp ice shards, not natural. Something had planned this. We filled the hole, moved faster. The ridge rose on our right, a wall of white broken by black rock. Wind-carved cornices overhead like frozen waves. Every gust brought a faint howl, distant but answering. By late afternoon, the light turned orange. We'd covered 6 miles, 4 to go. The cold was a living thing now, sneaking through zippers, numbing fingers. Ben checked everyone for frostbite. Tom's nose was white, Sarah's cheeks gray. Lisa's eyelashes iced shut every 10 minutes. We crested a low rise and saw the cache, a red flag on a pole, half buried. Hope flared. Then the flag moved, not wind. A tall shape stepped from behind the drift, upright, arms too long, head tilted. It raised one hand, slow, deliberate, and pointed at us. Then it was gone, swallowed by snow. Lisa's camera caught it. "Contact," she breathed. Direct contact, we skied hard. The cache was intact, a metal box bolted to rock inside a 2-man tent. White gas stove, food, and, thank God, a handheld satellite radio. I powered it up. Static, then a voice. "Arctic Rescue, go ahead." I gave our coordinates, said medical emergency, possible predator. The operator stayed calm. "Storm window opens tomorrow noon. Sit tight. Do not move at night." Night was 4 hours away. We pitched the tent in the lee of the ridge, stove roaring, 6 bodies crammed inside. Outside, the prints circled again, closer this time, 20 yards. Tom set his camera on a tripod, lens pointed at the door flap. If they come, we get the money shot. Sarah found the old journal in the cache, leather-bound, pages brittle. Left by a trapper, 1893, she read aloud. Sketches matched the cave drawings. Tall figures, yellow eyes, warnings in faded ink. They learn, they wait. They take one at a time. Ben crossed himself. Lisa filmed the pages. I stared at the stove flame, thinking of Emily and Mia, wondering if I'd ever see them again. At 9:17 p.m., the stove hissed out. Fuel line frozen. Temperature inside plummeted. We piled into sleeping bags, rifles across laps. The wind died. Silence pressed like a weight. Then the breathing started, slow, deep, right outside the nylon wall. Something scraped the fabric, claws, deliberate. Tom's camera light blinked red, recording. Lisa whispered, "Don't move." The zipper moved, one tooth at a time. Cold air rushed in. A yellow eye filled the gap, pupil wide, reflecting the headlamp like a cat's. It sniffed. Then the face, flat gray-white fur matted with ice. It opened its mouth, rows of yellow teeth, breath steaming. Lisa's hand found the bear spray. I raised the rifle. The creature tilted its head, studying us. For a second, I swear it smiled. Then it reached in, slow, almost gentle, and plucked Tom's camera from the tripod. The strap snapped. It held the camera to its face, mimicking Tom's earlier pose, then crushed it in one fist. Plastic and glass rained on the floor. Tom lunged. "Give it back!" The creature backhanded him, casual, like swatting a fly. Tom flew into the tent wall, pole snapping. Sarah screamed. Ben fired, bang inside the tent, deafening. The bullet tore nylon but missed flesh. The creature was gone, we spilled outside. Moonlight on snow, blinding white. Prince led away, deep and fast. Tom's blood dotted the trail, nose broken, maybe worse. Ben patched him while Lisa reloaded the GoPro on a new battery. "We have to keep filming," she said. "Proof or we're crazy." Midnight. The temperature hit 52 degrees and frostbite set in fast. Sarah's fingers turned black at the tips. Ben amputated 2 with a heated knife. No anesthetic, just whiskey and prayer. She passed out. Tom wouldn't stop shaking. The prince never left, circling, waiting. At 3 a.m., the radio crackled. "Harlan, storm's breaking early." Chopper inbound at first light. "Stay inside." First light was 5 hours away. We burned everything flammable. Notebooks, extra clothes to keep the stove alive. The creatures howled in chorus, closer, hungry. One threw a rock, fist-sized, hit the tent pole, bent it. Another dragged Mike's glove across the snow in front of the door, taunting. Lisa filmed it all, voice calm for the lens. "They're intelligent. They're playing with us." I looked at the team, broken, bleeding, half-frozen, and knew we wouldn't all make dawn. The snow monsters had all night, and they were patient. Dawn never came. The sky stayed the color of old steel, wind screaming back to life, snow whipping sideways. The radio spat static, then silence. Our rescue window had slammed shut. The creatures knew. We were down to 4. Me, Lisa, Tom, nose swollen purple, eyes glassy. And Ben, hands shaking from the field surgery on Sarah. Sarah herself lay in the corner, unconscious, breath shallow. Black fingertips tucked inside her jacket. The tent was a coffin of frost and blood. The stove had died again. The last of the white gas hissed out at 4:12 a.m. Outside, the prints had multiplied. Dozens now overlapping, forming a perfect spiral around the tent. Every loop was tighter. 20 yards, 15, 10. The creatures were herding us like sheep. Lisa's GoPro battery blinked red. 1 hour left, she said. "We need to move." Tom laughed, wet, broken. "Move where?" "They're everywhere." Ben checked the rifles, 12 rounds total. "We make a run for the ridge. High ground. Maybe the radio works up there." I looked at Sarah. "She won't make it." Ben met my eyes. "Then we carry her." We lashed Sarah to a sled with ski poles and cord. Tom and Ben took the front straps. Lisa and I pushed. The moment we stepped outside, the wind hit like a wall. Snow stung our faces, visibility down to 20 feet. The creatures' howls rose in answer, closer, excited. We skied hard, sled bouncing over pressure ridges. Every crunch of snow felt like a countdown. The prints flanked us, sometimes crossing our path, forcing us to vey. Lisa filmed over her shoulder. They're pacing again. 2 on the left, 1 behind, Tom panted. I see eyes, yellow, moving fast. Half a mile out, the sled hit a hidden crevasse. The ice cracked, sharp as a gunshot. The front ski pole snapped. Sarah's body slid forward, head lolling. Ben lunged to grab her. The sled tipped. Tom lost balance, fell hard. His scream cut short as the snow under him gave way. A pit, dug, lined with sharpened ice stakes. He dropped 6 feet, impaled through the thigh on a spike of frozen urine and snow. Blood steamed in the cold. Lisa reached for him. A white blur exploded from the drift, 12 feet tall, arms like battering rams. It swung once. Lisa flew 10 feet, GoPro spinning off her chest. The creature grabbed Tom by the parka hood and dragged him out of the pit, still screaming, into the whiteout. The scream faded fast. We ran. Ben fired blind into the storm, 3 shots, no hits. Sarah's sled was gone, we left it. The ridge loomed ahead, black rock against gray sky. We climbed, boots slipping on glare ice, lungs burning. At the top we found a wind-scoured bowl, natural fortress, waist-high walls of snow. We dove in, rifles up. Lisa's GoPro lay cracked in the snow, still recording. I grabbed it. The screen showed the creature's face. Inches away, yellow eyes filling the frame, breath fogging the lens. It had watched the recording, then crushed the camera in its fist. The last frame froze on its open mouth, rows of teeth, pink tongue, and something that looked disturbingly like a smile. Ben reloaded. How many left? At least 3, Lisa gasped. Maybe more, Sarah stirred, moaned. Frostbite had spread to her cheeks. Ben gave her the last morphine. She's got minutes. The wind dropped. Silence pressed. Then footsteps, slow, deliberate. A rock the size of a microwave sailed over the wall, landed with a thud. Another, then a third, wrapped in Tom's scarf, still warm with blood. They were toying with us. Lisa raised the cracked GoPro. If we die, this gets out. Ben handed me the satellite radio. 1 bar. Try now. I keyed it. Mayday, Mayday, Harlan team, Brooks Range, under attack by unknown predators, need immediate. Static. Then a voice faint. Copy. Storm. Hold. The signal died. The first creature crested the bowl's rim, slow, deliberate. 12 feet, maybe 13. Shoulders broad as a doorway, fur matted with ice and old blood. Yellow eyes locked on us. It carried Tom's broken ski pole like a spear. Behind it, 2 more appeared, smaller but still giants. They spread out, flanking. Ben fired. The bullet sparked off rock. The lead creature didn't flinch. It pointed at Sarah, then at the sky, mimicking our radio call. Learned behavior. They'd been watching us the whole time. Lisa stood. We charge. On 3, Ben shook his head. We die. Then we die filming, she said, and hit record. The creatures moved, fast, coordinated. One leaped the wall, landing inside the bowl. Ben fired twice, center mass, no effect. The thing backhanded him. He flew, hit rock, didn't get up. Lisa sprayed bear mace, useless in the wind. The second creature grabbed her ankle, dragged her screaming across the snow. Her GoPro skittered toward me. I caught it, still rolling. Sarah's eyes opened. Alex, I knelt. I'm here. Tell Mia. Her voice faded. Frostbite took her. I was alone. The creatures circled, patient. The alpha, the biggest with a scar across its snout, stepped forward. It held Ben's rifle, bent in half, like a toy. Looked at me, then at the GoPro, and nodded. A message, we see you. We remember. I backed to the edge of the bowl. Below, a steep slope dropped into white nothing. No choice. I keyed the radio one last time. They're real. Send help. Tell my daughter. The alpha lunged. I jumped. I fell 20 feet, hit a drift, rolled. Pain exploded in my leg, broken maybe. The GoPro tumbled with me, still recording. Above, the creatures howled. Victory or warning. I crawled, dragging the camera into a crevasse. Darkness swallowed me. Hours later, or minutes, time blurred, the storm broke. Sunlight speared the ice. Chopper thumped overhead. Rescue. They found me half-buried, hypothermic, clutching the cracked GoPro like a lifeline. Lisa's final footage. The alpha's face inches away, yellow eyes staring into the lens as she screamed. They airlifted me out. Ben, Sarah, Tom, Mike, gone. Lisa's body was never recovered. The video went viral. Scientists called it a hoax. The government classified the area restricted, extreme avalanche risk. No one goes in anymore. But I still hear the howls on quiet nights. And sometimes when snow falls in Seattle, I see yellow eyes in the flakes. They remember me and they're patient. The crevasse saved me, then tried to kill me. I slid down a blue ice chute, boots scraping, GoPro bouncing off my chest. The walls narrowed, then opened into a cavern lit by a single shaft of sunlight. I landed hard on a shelf of snow, legs screaming. Tibia snapped clean. The camera kept rolling, red light blinking. Above, the creatures howled, frustrated, cut off by the storm's return. Wind sealed the crack like a tomb. I was alone, 30 feet underground with a dead radio, a broken leg, and 4 hours of daylight left. First things first, stop the bleeding. My parka was shredded, blood soaked the snow pink. I used Ben's med kit, still strapped to my belt, to splint the leg with ski pole segments and duct tape. Morphine dulled the pain to a roar. The GoPro battery read 11%. I turned it off to save juice. The cavern was huge, cathedral-sized, walls glittering with frost feathers. In the center, a frozen waterfall, and beneath it, a pile of bones. Human, old and new. Parkas from the 70s, a metal trapper's tag. Dated 1952 and, God help me, Mike's Texas Longhorns cap, still orange under the ice. They'd been hunting here for decades. Footsteps echoed above, slow, deliberate. The Alpha was on the ice roof, sniffing. I dragged myself deeper, into a side tunnel. The air warmed, geothermal maybe. Steam rose from cracks. My breath no longer froze. Hope flickered. The tunnel opened into a second chamber. Ice gave way to rock, and there, impossible, a fire pit. Charred wood, still warm. A crude stone knife lay beside it. The creatures used tools. They'd learned from every team that came before us. I found Lisa's GoPro, cracked but intact, wedged in a crevice. The memory card was full. I swapped it with mine. Last file, 2:14 a.m., inside the tent. The Alpha's face filled the screen, yellow eyes reflecting the stove flame. It tilted the camera to show Ben's body, then Sarah's. Then it looked straight into the lens and pressed record itself. The final frame, its thumb, black claw, human-like, covering the lens. Message received. I had proof. Now I needed to live. The leg wouldn't hold weight. I crawled. The tunnel sloped down, steam thicker. I found a hot spring, small, bubbling, ringed with bones. The water was 40 degrees Celsius, bath water in the Arctic. I soaked the leg, thawed my fingers, drank. Strength returned, then the growl, low, close. The Alpha had followed the blood trail. It stood, at the tunnel mouth, silhouetted by steam, 12 feet of muscle and fur. In its hand, Tom's ice axe. It raised the axe, sniffed, then threw it. The blade buried in the rock beside my head, warning shot. I grabbed the stone knife, useless, but better than nothing. The creature stepped into the light, scar across its snout, one ear torn. It studied me the way a chess player studies a cornered king. I backed toward the spring. Steam hid me for seconds. I saw the exit, a narrow chimney rising to the surface, too high to climb with one leg. But the ice wall beside it was climbable. Pythons from the med kit, rope from my pack. I started up, slow, pain shooting with every move. The Alpha watched, didn't rush. It knew I was trapped. Halfway up, the rope snapped, frayed by the axe throw. I fell 10 feet, landed on the bad leg. Bone grated. I screamed. The creature advanced. I had one chance. The GoPro, still around my neck, had a flare taped to it. Emergency signal. I ripped it free, pulled the pin. White light exploded, 100,000 lumens. The Alpha recoiled, covering its eyes. Arctic creatures hate bright light. Evolution in endless night. I used the seconds, jammed the stone knife into the ice, hauled myself up. The flare burned behind me, hissing. The creature roared, pain, rage. I reached the chimney, wedged my good leg, pushed. Ice cracked. I was out, surface again, storm gone. Sun low, sky clear. The ridge was a white table. No prints, wind had erased them. I crawled, dragging the leg, GoPro clutched like gold. Blood trail behind me. Then the chopper, black dot on the horizon, growing. Rescue. They'd seen the flare. The Alpha burst from the crevasse behind me, fur singed, eyes wild. It charged, fast, covering 20 yards in 2 strides. I rolled onto my back, raised the GoPro, hit record. The creature loomed, axe raised. Its face filled the frame. Scar, yellow eyes, breath steaming. It hesitated, looked at the lens, then at the chopper blades thumping closer. It lowered the axe. The bird landed 50 yards away. Rangers in orange suits ran toward me, rifles up. The Alpha watched them, then me. It raised one hand, slow, deliberate, and pointed north. A warning. Then it turned and vanished into the white footprints already filling with snow. They airlifted me out. I passed out on the stretcher, GoPro still recording the empty sky. In the hospital, doctors saved the leg, pins, plates, 6 months rehab. The video went to the feds. They classified it top secret biological anomaly. The Brooks Range sector was closed due to unstable ice. No more research permits. No more teams. Lisa's body was never found. Neither were the others. Official story. Avalanche, but I have the footage. And every winter when the first snow falls in Seattle, I hear the howl. Distant, but clear. They remember, and they're still waiting. They let me keep the GoPro. The feds took the original memory card, locked it in a vault somewhere in D.C., but they gave me a copy, grainy, red-stamped classified. I watch it once a year, on the anniversary of the drop, March 12th, always alone, always with the lights off. The first time I played it for Emily, she cried for an hour. Mia, 11 now, asked if the monster was real. I told her yes. Then I told her never to go north of the Arctic Circle. Ever. I tried to go back to work. The university offered me a corner office, a new grant, a lecture tour. I lasted 3 weeks. Every slide of melting ice looked like a yellow eye. Every gust of wind through the vents sounded like a howl. I quit. Took a job teaching high school earth science in Tacoma. Kids think I'm the weird teacher with the limp and the scar across my cheek. They're not wrong. The video leaked 6 months later, not by me. A ranger in Anchorage, drunk on moose brew, uploaded Lisa's final minutes to a crypto forum. Within 48 hours, it was everywhere. YouTube, TikTok, late-night news. The Alpha's face, scarred, calm, intelligent, stared out at millions. Comments exploded. CGI hoax. Government cover-up. They're coming for us. The feds denied everything. Called it a bear with rabies. Closed the Brooks Range permanently. Glacial instability. No flights, no dog sleds, no drones. Satellite images of the area went blurry overnight. Official story stuck, but the leaks kept coming. A trapper in Kotzebue found Mike's glove nailed to a tree with an ice spike. A pilot overflying the restricted zone reported yellow lights moving in formation at night. A Norwegian research ship picked up a distress beacon, our frequency, our coordinates, 3 years after we were gone. When they arrived, the ice was smooth. No wreckage, just a single word carved into the snow, 10 feet tall. ARLANI got the call from the Coast Guard at 2 a.m. They asked if I wanted to see the photos. I said no. Emily left me in 2026. Said she couldn't sleep with the windows open anymore. Said every snowstorm sounded like claws on glass. Mia stayed with her mom, but she texts me every March 12th. Still alive, Dad? I always answer, for now. I moved to a studio apartment above a laundromat. No yard, no snow. I keep the GoPro in a fire safe, battery removed. But I still dream. In the dream, I'm back in the crevasse. The Alpha sits across the hot spring, legs crossed like a man. It speaks not with words, but in my head. You told, I nod. They will come again, I ask why. It shows me the cave paintings. Thousands of years of tall figures, small figures, fire, blood. Then a new image, cities, highways, smoke, ice melts, we wake. You open the door. I wake up gasping, leg throbbing where the pins are. The limp never left, neither did the cold. My fingers ache even in July. Last winter, the feds came knocking. 2 agents in cheap suits, badges flashing. Said a new team wanted to go in. Private contractor, ex-military, biological retrieval. They needed my map, My silence offered 6 figures. I laughed until I coughed blood, old lung damage from the frostbite. I gave them the map. Then I burned the only copy. That night I uploaded the full video, unredacted, 4K, Lisa's screams intact, to every platform I could find. No watermark, no commentary, just the truth. By morning it was gone, scrubbed from the internet, servers seized. But not before 40 million downloads. The alpha's face became a meme, a nightmare, a religion. Kids in hoodies with yellow contact lenses. Conspiracy subreddits mapping every closed Arctic zone. A senator called for hearings. The hearings were canceled. Spring came early this year. Record melt. Satellites show the Brooks Range ice sheet cracking like glass. New crevasses. New shadows on thermal imaging. Tall, warm, moving in packs. I keep a packed bag by the door. Parka, rifle, fresh GoPro, 1 flare. Emily calls sometimes. Mia sends drawings, snowmen with yellow eyes. I don't sleep. Last week a package arrived, no return address. Inside, a single ice spike, still cold, wrapped in Tom's scarf. On the scarf, scratched in blood, soon you know what it means. The ice is melting. They're coming south. If you live above the 60th parallel, check your locks. If you hear a howl that isn't wind, don't open the door. If you see yellow eyes in the storm, run. They remember my name and they're patient. End of recording. The GoPro battery dies. In the final frame, snow begins to fall outside the window, thick, silent, and wrong.